Beautiful. So a big warm welcome to everyone that is here live. And of course, if you're watching the replay, we always feel like you're here with us as well. Yeah, so good, hey, so good. So today's conversation or topic, I'm really actually looking forward to talking about, and it's interesting, because quite often when it lands with me, what's obvious to bring into conversation with these masterclasses, there can be a bit of a theme in that comes in with conversations that I have with clients and just other conversations, and it really just rang true that this week. Let me just make sure that I'm just going to hit that so that I can see if anyone comes in. This week's conversation is about conflicting, when we have conflict, like conflicting relationships. Because, I mean, maybe as soon as I said that, you're like, oh, yeah, I know a person. Maybe you can automatically relate. I know a person that I have, a bit of, confliction with. Let me just add deepen. So it's really about, as being a creator, really learning to let go and raising your perspective so that you can see situations and conflicts that you're having with someone or something, that you see it from your higher self. And because it really changes, it changes the outcome. Hey, it really creates a potent outcome in any circumstance when we can rise above and see things from a different perspective. So I would love for you to kind of sit with what would it be like for you? What would life be like for you if you were unaffected by others and their perceptions, maybe their perceptions of you, that no matter how they were showing up, what they were perceiving to be true, what their projections were, you could just stay cool, calm, and collected and anchored in your power without getting triggered. And I'd love for you to write in the chat box, like, just think about it for you. What would life be like for you if there were no triggers? If you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. How good would that be? You could simply just rise up to your higher self, your higher way of being, and view things from that perspective without getting caught up in it. Would it be great? Would it feel good? I remember, very freeing. Hey, I remember William Whitecloud actually, can't remember when it was. Anyway, irrelevant. Don't get triggered too much. If I do, I come back very quick. Nice, not your problem. Absolutely, not your problem. Not your problem. I remember William saying about he was at this conference, and he was with this guy that was one of his mentors, and he was chatting away to him. And anyway, this other guy come up and was abusing, like just giving this mentor of William's a real hoedown of how he thought that he was this and that and the next thing. And William really wanted to step in and say, hey, come on, settle down, just, this is not the time nor the place. And he went to speak, and his mentor said, no, look, just let him talk. Just let him talk. Like, let him vent out what's true for him. And long story short, the dude, he vented, and they, they all chatted, and they all end up being really great friends and going out for drinks and things later. And I thought, how powerful to have someone stand there in front of you and project how they feel about you from their perception, right? So from their perception, and just let it come without defending, without feeling like you have to to smooth out the situation. Very powerful, very powerful. And see, the problem is it's so easy to lose sight of everything when you have conflict with someone, isn't it? Like, it might be your partner or sibling, your child, parent, friend, the lady at the cafe that's making your coffee, and they say something or they act in a certain way, they do something, or maybe you just think that they're thinking something, and then all of a sudden you lose it. You lose it. And when I say you lose it, yeah, maybe you actually lose your shit, but also maybe you lose your focus and you get triggered. And you see, when we get triggered, we show up in a different way. Very easy to become reactive, absolutely. And all the power and the energy goes into that situation. And usually it's not just for that small little, box of time that situation happened. The power and the energy goes into the situation, the circumstance, the power is given to that person, and how you're frustrated with them, and then we can easily allow ourselves to be consumed by it. And then we even go and like collude with others about, oh God, this person, they're annoying, they're frustrating me, they're this, they're that. And maybe we get defensive about it and then buy into being a victim. And you see, when that happens, one, what are we creating? What are we creating? You see, we all see through our eyes, from our perspective, from our being. You see through your eyes and what you believe to be true. You bring your thoughts and your feelings to the circumstance, to the current reality. And you see, when we bring our thoughts and our feelings to it, what does that mean? It means that you're bringing your ego perspective to what you feel to be true. And if we're bringing our thoughts and feelings, think of that word bringing. We're bringing our thoughts and feelings to this situation, to the circumstance. Where do those thoughts and feelings come from? The past. Right? We're making it mean something relative to how we're connecting into our ego. Because we know that our ego is from the past. That we're bringing in, consciously or not, we're bringing in emotions that don't necessarily belong in that situation. We're bringing in perhaps this feeling of need to fight for ourselves, to be seen as significant. We might be connecting into not being worthy or not good enough or not capable. We project how we view the circumstance, the conflict, and we react from that space. And what does that create? Type in the chat box, what does that create? When we are connected into our ego, our egoic agenda, when we're connected into an orientation, a structure that does not serve us, it creates discomfort. What else does it create? Because we are putting our time and our energy into that thing, aren't we? Into that situation, into that conflict, into all the ways that we see it and believe it to be true. Loss of energy. And if we're facing this way and we're plugged into that, what are we not doing? We're not creating what it is that we want, because we're fixing something. Yeah? So it creates wasted time and wasted energy when you could be putting it into really truly being a creator and creating the life that you desire. Because maybe actually completely letting go of that situation or that thing that's happening could be what serves you the best. But how often or not do we get caught up in our heads of, oh my God, I can't believe they see it this way, or I can't believe they said that, or what can I do to make them see that I'm a better person? I mean, there's lots of things that you could fit in there, right? So we have to be really mindful about what it is that we're creating, because we're responsible for ourselves. So what are we creating when we're having some conflict in relationships with people? And you see, it's not personal, is it? It's not personal. It's not personal to us. The conflict, how that that person might be showing up, it's not personal to you. It's a structure that they're in. But we have to be mindful of what structure do we go into when there is conflict. When both sides are met together at a structure that doesn't serve either of you, what is created? What is the general outcome of that? Because we're not in control. It's not for us to control the other person. Yeah, need to defend. And does it mean that you avoid the conflict or the person? No. And it certainly doesn't mean that you have to excuse their behavior. However, when we can rise above and disconnect from being in our ego, we can see it in a whole different perspective, and maybe we can understand it a little bit more. We use our ability to rise up to a higher way of being, seeing from that perspective. Seeing the light, almost, you could say. And so something that I've always reminded myself of is, in those situations, is even in that person, they have a heart. They have a heart. We all have a heart. And everyone is doing their best in their own conscious state. It's not my responsibility to try and have them in a, to shift them in a different structure. It's up to me to ensure that I'm in my higher structure. Tune into who I'm being. So for an example, I was talking to a client the other day, and she was expressing some things that were happening in her life, and with her ex, and this stuff that was coming up, and how good she had felt with the last coaching session that we had. And yay, Debbie, I love it that you're loving this. Cool. All good. And she had such a great session, and she said, 2 weeks ago this is how I was feeling, and then now this has happened with my ex, and it really just took my focus, and she was beating herself up a bit about it as well. She was a bit a bit annoyed that it had taken her focus and her energy, and really got in her head and was consumed by it, and I'm pretty sure, we didn't talk about it, but I'm pretty sure she was losing sleep over it, and we unpacked it all and got to the realization of what her biggest fear was and what she was resisting. And And when I supported her and helping her to sort of rise above and look at it from a different perspective, immediately she felt free. Immediately she felt free. She's like, yeah, okay, yeah, when I see it from this perspective, and when I see what it is for me, what I'm resisting, and when we fleshed all of that out, everything changed. And I know for myself as well that when I use my ability to rise up in a higher way of being in any situation with someone that I feel that there's conflict, it is freeing. It might feel really hard in that moment in time. However, it creates a completely different outcome. So if you haven't already thought of someone that you have had some conflict with recently, or maybe you're in conflict with someone, I'd love for you to bring that person up now. Maybe it's just a point in time where you were in conflict with someone. But let me know in the chat box if you can just bring up like a person that you've had some kind of conflict with, or maybe it's continuous conflict. Maybe a family member, friend. Right, beautiful. Beautiful. And so what would it be like for you if you no longer felt that conflict, if you no longer felt like anything that they said or done, that you didn't have that trigger? What would life be like for you if you could just let go of being in the past? Because that is it, right? A lot of it is bringing the past. Well, this is how they always react, and so on and so forth. If you could like actually let go. Let go of giving the power to that person or the situation, or trying to fix it. If you stop getting caught up in the thoughts and feelings, what would it be like? See, it's so freeing. And this is what I want. This is what I want, because it's life, right? It's life. It's not to avoid the conflict, because that's not a powerful way to show up, is it? To avoid it, or to put up with someone's behavior, or to be triggered when they say something or they project something onto you. Because we lose, we take ourselves away from just simply being in creation and staying aligned with what it is that we choose. We lose sleep, we get in our heads. That's not what I want for you, and that's not what I want for me. So we're going to do the perceptual shift, which is one of my favorites. So this can be used for anything that you're in a relationship with. So recently, or it probably wasn't even that recent actually, because the way the time is flying, can't believe that we're in April already. But we have done the perceptual shift with money. You can do it with money. Anything that you're in a relationship with, we can do this. We can do this with. But we're going to do it with a specific person in mind. So I'd love for you to think of that person, or maybe it's a group of people. It might just feel like you're in conflict with your whole family. I don't know. Like, you get to choose. You get to choose. So 3 cheers, and I'm pretty sure that all of you that are on here have done the perceptual shift. It's very, very powerful. However, for those of you that are watching the replay, if you haven't, basically this is a 3 cheer exercise. We have 1, 2, 3. You can place them wherever you like, 1, 2, 3, wherever. So there is one chair that is you. You, easy to, let me just let Anjan, easy to know, you. The other chair is the person or the group, but I'm just going to refer to it as a person. So if you choose that it's a group of people or whatever, then that's totally cool. So welcome those that have just joined. We're about to do the perceptual shift, a 3-chair exercise, and this is relative to, so today's conversation is relative to conflicting relationships. So very, very powerful. So 3 chairs, you and one. The second chair is the person that you're in conflict with. So again, could be family member, could be partner, could be a sibling, could be a friend, child, whoever. And then we have superconscious. And then we have superconscious. So superconscious, as we know, is it's a higher way of being, because superconscious is everywhere. It's in all of us. Superconscious isn't outside of us. We are superconscious, right? It's a higher way of being. So have you all got the person that you would like to work with today? Just give me a number 1 in the chat box if you have it. So it could be something that recently has happened. It could be for yourself. However, I would love for you to choose someone else. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. We have inner conflict, right? We have inner conflict. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Okay. So I would love for you to, and maybe for you, I know for me, closing my eyes, I feel more connected into what it is that I'm doing, less distracted too, because when our eyes are open, although we're not really connecting into it, or really no, but we're actually connecting to everything that's happening around us. So I'd love for you to go ahead and close your eyes. Close your eyes. And as you have your eyes closed, just know that you're in a meeting. Imagine that you're at a meeting with this person that you have some conflict with or have had conflict with. And as you acknowledge that you're in your meeting with this person, and again, it could be a group, but I'm just going to keep on referring it to a person. So you change it to however you need. So as you're in this meeting, knowing that you're sitting in the first chair, this is the chair of you. Okay? You are immersed, you are sitting in your chair, and I want you just to notice that right in front of you is this person sitting in the chair across from you. And I want you to connect into, what does it feel like? What does it feel like sitting across from this person? How is it? What does it feel like? What does it look like? Maybe it sounds like something. How do you feel sitting across from this person? And just notice what you feel about them. What are your beliefs about them? What do you believe about them? Just give yourself space and time to really connect in this conflict. What is your goal? What is the outcome that you desire? Do you have fears or concerns about having a good relationship with this person? And just notice what the energy's like. Just notice what's coming up for you. The feelings, the energy, the emotion. Acknowledge everything that has come through for you. Now I want you to go ahead and in your mind, just imagine standing up, leaving that chair that you were on, leave that you behind, shake it off. And now go and sit in the other chair across from you. Sit in that chair, the chair of the person that you chose to sit in that other chair. Sit in that chair and become that person. Become them. See through their eyes. Tune into being them as much as you can, seeing from their perspective. And as you're sitting in this chair, becoming that person, looking back at the chair in front of you, and it's you, of course. You know, the chair in front of you now represents you because you've become that person. Breathe into being this person. Seeing through their eyes. Be them. What does it feel like being this person sitting across from you? How does it feel? How do you see the you that's sitting in front of the chair in front of you? How are you judging you? What do you believe about the you sitting in front in that chair? How do you see things? How do you, being this person, how do you perceive the energy to be? Being this person, what do you want for this relationship? What do you want for them? For them meaning the you that's sitting in the chair in front. What's your goal? And just acknowledge what's landing for you right now. for you personally, not being connected into the chair, but just acknowledge what's landing, what you're noticing about being in this chair. Now I want you to imagine standing up, leaving that chair, shaking it off. Maybe you physically do that with your body, shake it off. And now go and sit in the third chair, the superconscious chair. This chair, as you sit in this chair, you can see in front of you, on either side, you can see the chair that you sit in, you can see the chair that the other person sits in. You're in the superconscious chair, the chair that has the superconscious perspective. The chair that is outside of the meeting looking in. And just allow yourself, and maybe you might just imagine that there's a circle around you. And in this circle holds you being superconscious and your genius, becoming the infinite knowledge and wisdom. Connecting through everything, through all time and space. And from this perspective, looking, seeing both versions. As you look at these two chairs, just notice the energy. Just notice the perspective from each of them. And as superconscious, just tune into what does either of them need to know in order to have more satisfaction in this relationship. As superconscious, what does the chair with you sitting on it need to let go of, shift or reconsider? What needs to change from your perspective? And as you have your eyes closed, I'm just going to do a bit of a recode. So I would love for you to please give me permission to connect into your superconscious. Superconscious, you there? Superconscious, please create the perfect treatment plan for today. So we can treat this resistance in the perfect way, in the perfect order. Please treat the original event that caused these beliefs and emotions to be present. And please do a massive change history, and everything is needed. Thank you. Superconscious, please tag and treat all the pain that has been caused. Please find the generational point that holds the resistance, and please tag and treat and do a massive change history, and everything is needed. Thank you. Please find all memories that are holding on to resistance. Please tag and treat the beliefs and emotions that were created in those memories. Superconscious, please tag and treat the fear, what is feared in the outcome of the conflict. Superconscious, if there are any other beliefs, memories, events, circumstances that are coming up, please tag and treat with total love and respect and kindness. Now we're going to go ahead and create an anchor. And anchoring in what it would be like to hold the power within you and be unaffected by this person. So go ahead and grab your wrist. It doesn't matter which wrist, which hand, but grab your wrist with your other hand. And what would it feel like to just love that person? To see that they have a heart, and to squeeze your wrist. Seeing that they have a heart, knowing that they're doing their best in their own conscious state. How does that feel? And just breathe it in to hold your power. Just breathe that in, putting that energy to feel anchored in your higher self, your higher way of being, and knowing that it's not personal, and that it's a structure that they are in. Connect into your heart. How does this feel? Just tuning into how good it feels to be in your power. Just holding on to that anchor. And go ahead and sit in the first chair, holding on to the anchor, the chair with you. Keep the anchor on and just notice how it feels now. Notice how it feels sitting in this chair, looking across at that person. Feel it in your body. Notice what the energy's like. Notice what's changed. Notice how you see this person now. As you're holding on to your power, feeling anchored in your higher self, your higher way of being. Let the anchor go if you like, and just be in this moment for a little bit. And as you're in this moment, just choose how you want life to be moving forward. choose how you show up in this relationship. And just acknowledge and observe, how does that feel? I want you to go sometime into the future, stepping into the future, and just imagine that you're having communications with this person, and notice how you're showing up, who you're being. What is it like now? And just feeling the energy, the connection between you and this other person. Superconscious, please do a massive change history in memories 1, 2, and 3. Any other memories, including ego states, Tanner memory, shadow memory, all levels of physiology, DNA, past lives, future lives, parallel lives, and all aspects of consciousness. Please ground the memories we've touched today, reconnecting them to the matrix of the universe. When you're ready, come back. And just fill me in the chat box, or you can unmute. I always welcome verbal connections and communication. So either type in the chat box or unmute. Yeah, just let me know, how does that feel for you now? What does that connection to that person feel like? What did you notice? What do you see? What did you notice when you put yourself into their shoes, their perspective? Is there more love? Is there more understanding? Is there more compassion for that person? Is there less trigger? Definitely all of that. Nice. And you just jumped in the perfect timing. But definitely watch the replay, watch the start. You see, it's so easy to be instantly triggered. And it's a conditioning, right? It's conditioning. It's our defense mechanism because of our ego. And you think about it, ego versus ego, never gonna be great outcome, is it? But when we can rise to our higher self, and it's not necessarily that we agree with the person or that we we accept their behavior or anything like that. It's just simply seeing from their perspective and stepping back and looking at the both, how both are showing up, what do they both need to know, and then re-entering that circumstance. Maybe we can't do it instantly in the moment. Great awareness is when you said step into that person. I was like, no, I don't want to become her. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I get it. It's like, yeah, I don't want to step into that. I don't want to be that. But what I find for me personally, because I can only go from my own personal, experience, right, is when I can come from their perspective and be in their shoes and just tune into, because we don't always know what's happening in someone else's life. We might have our own assumptions, but again, it's our view, it's our assumption, it's our perspective. But if we can come from a place of compassion and knowing it's simply the structure that they're in, for whatever reason they're in that structure, for whatever is going on in their world, whatever they've carried through from the past, it just puts so much ease into it all, And I've found I've been less triggered by things by just just that. Okay, well, from their perspective, this is possibly how they see it. Doesn't mean to say I agree with it, but hey, I am not responsible for trying to make them see it a different way. It's true for them. So be it. So be it. It's true for them. Never had that resistance, but with choosing mum, somewhere I had decided there was no way I wanted to be her because I have obviously judged. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? How we judge, how we perceive things. But it's our lens looking that way. It's just our lens from our experiences. And it doesn't mean that either side is right or wrong. So when we can let go, because I don't know about you, but I mean, I certainly have people in my life that it feels like it's a consistent loop, and it's been like that for years. And I've tried to fix it and fight it, and been sucked into the energy of I wish things were different and I wish that it was better. But when I just chose to let go, I'm like, okay, well, this is what it is. I'm not responsible for them. I'm responsible for me and my participation in this and who I choose to be in this. You see, we are always bigger than what the conflict creates. You're always bigger than any structure that is, outside of being in the creative structure. You're bigger than it. But what we tend to do is in those moments, somehow we condition ourselves to be smaller than it. And then we're not in a higher way of being. You're always bigger than someone else's projection. You're always bigger than someone else's, structure. You're always bigger than your perception when you're bringing your thoughts and feelings to the circumstance. See, thoughts and feelings are not real. It took me a long time to really let that land. But thoughts and feelings come from the past. So when something's happening and we're in our thoughts and our feelings, where are we? Not a higher way of being. And when we bring ourselves into a higher way of being, we remind ourselves we're bigger than all of it. It's not saying, well, I'm bigger than you and I'm way better than you and you don't know, it's not that. It's not that, but we're bigger than it. So when we rise above, we look at the situation, the circumstance, the thing, and then we choose what it is that we are in control of and what we're not, and we continue to create a life that we love. Sometimes that might mean just spending less time with that person. Or, instead of trying to fight the thing or the person or ensure that they really understand my point of view, because my point of view is, the right point of view. I've never done that before, have you? No, but you really need to understand, because you're just not getting it. Like, you just need to see it my way. Never have I ever. But it's not about that. It's not about that. We all choose to see what we see. So let's ensure that what we see and what we're bringing into our creation is what we want to create. if I unattach from the past, if I unattach from the thoughts and feelings that are happening right now, and I allow myself to rise above, look at it from both sides. Don't have to sit on the fence of either, but just look at it from both sides. And what does superconscious tell me? What is it that each side needs to know? What's obvious? Super freeing, super powerful. Thoughts and feelings come from our past. Yes, they do. They do. Oh, I missed that one from you, Tracy. I was so able to see that I confuse her so she doesn't know how to be with me. Yeah. I've always confused her. Yay! Well, not yay as in you've always confused her, but yay for that realization. I should be mindful sometimes when I say yay as I'm reading things. I have so many things going on. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Yay.
I'm going yay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It is so good, isn't it, that when we can flesh out the awareness and show up in a different way, different outcomes. I'm all about outcomes at the moment. Hey, it's big, it's really big theme for me this week. Like, what is the outcome that I choose? What's actually the outcome? Whether it's in conversations, whether it's an action that I'm taking, what's the outcome? Because if I do this way, or I show up this way, is going to be a different outcome to if I do this or show up this way. So what is the outcome that I desire? That could actually go into a whole nother masterclass. So maybe that's something for maybe that's something for next week. Who knows? Beautiful. Any other takeaways? What's landed for you? I'd love to hear before we jump off. But how was that? Good session? Good. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Nice. All right, beautiful souls. Love you all. A reminder, please, next week, my time zone changes. So I don't confuse anyone and say the wrong thing. Please just go into school. My clock goes back. So this started at 9, 8. Yeah, I'm pleased that you jumped on too. My clock goes back an hour. So I believe it will be an hour later for you. Yeah, it'll be an hour later for you if you don't live in New Zealand, okay? All good, Jennifer. So that's as of lenses. So lenses. So when I say next week, it's still the same week for those of you that are in the US, your Sunday, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Yay for that, Wayne. It's like an hour later. Woohoo. Good. Yeah. The calendar should show it all. So just so that you all know, that's what's happening in my world. If you need anything, please ensure that you reach out. Never suffer in silence. If you need anything from me or my team, we're always here to help. Love you all so much. Some of you I will see in coaching calls before lenses. Others, those of you that are in my inner circle that I'm coaching one-on-one, we have our chats and connection that starts in half an hour. So I will see you all then. Sending heaps of love. Mwah.